Loopers, Melissa from Lovable Loops here. Today I'm going to show you guys how to crochet this Snow White dress in size 3/6 months. Okay, so I'm going to start. I have my worsted weight yarn number 4, my eye hook 5.5 millimeter. I have some stitch markers, my scissors, and a measuring tape. And move that out of the way. Okay, so for this pattern, to start with, you're going to chain 64. Okay, chain 64. Okay, you're going to want to make sure that your chain is nice and straight. Okay, and you're going to join. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and triple check to make sure this is nice and straight. And then I'm going to join to that very first chain. Okay, and now I'm going to chain 2 and I'm going to make 8 double crochet. My first double crochet will go in that same spot where I just joined to. You're going to make sure that your chain doesn't twist while you're doing this. Okay. All right, so I should have 8. 2, 4, 6, 8. Okay, now I'm in my next chain space. I'm going to make a V stitch. So that is going to be 1 double crochet, chain 1, and then another double crochet in the same stitch. Have a stitch marker handy because you're going to mark this V stitch, okay? So again, in your next chain space, you make a V stitch, which is 1 double crochet, chain 1, and make another double crochet in that same space. And then use a stitch marker to mark that chain space in between. And you can see it's called a V stitch because it looks like a V, okay? And now in the next 14 chain spaces, you're going to double crochet. 14. I'm going to double check. So here's my V-stitch. So this stitch is part of the V-stitch. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. Perfect. So now again, I'm going to make another V-stitch. So in my next chain space, I'm going to double crochet 1, chain 1, and then I'll make another double crochet in that same space. And once again, I'm going to use a stitch marker to mark the stitch. Okay, there you go. Okay, now you're going to double crochet in the next 16 chain spaces. Got 16. Let me just count them real quick. So that's part of the V-stitch. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. I actually did 17. And I'm going to count that one more time. I would rather count extra times than to accidentally mess up. Creates a lot of work for you later on if you do. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. Perfect. Okay, and now you're going to make another V-stitch in that next chain space. And again, that's a double crochet, chain 1, and another double crochet all into that same chain space. And again, use a stitch marker to mark off that space for you. Okay, and now you're going to double crochet in the next 14 chain spaces. Should be 14. Let me check. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. Perfect. Okay. Then in the next chain space, I'm going to make another V-stitch. So I'm going to double crochet, chain 1, and double crochet again. All in the same chain space. And then again, use a stitch marker to mark off that stitch for you. And then you should have 8 chains left. Okay, you're going to double crochet once into each of those 8 chains. Okay. All right, so now you're going to join to the top of that first double crochet that you made there. The very beginning. Go ahead and join. Okay, and then you're going to chain 2 and you're going to double crochet in 9. And again, your first double crochet goes into that same stitch that you joined to. So we have 1, 2, 3, 8 and 9. Okay. All right, and now in the V-stitch area, you're going to make another V-stitch. So you're going to make that V-stitch into that space that you have there, where you made the chain 1. So you're going to double crochet 1, chain 1, and double crochet again. And then go ahead and mark that space. And then you're going to double crochet into the next 16, okay? So you want to be very careful. You don't want to skip that stitch here. This is one of the stitches from your previous, so the V-stitch in the previous round. This was the double crochet, then you had the chain that you just made a V-stitch into. Make sure you crochet into that first double crochet right there, okay? That was part of the V-stitch from the last round. That's where you put your first double crochet, and you're double crocheting 16. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and that should be 16. Let me double check here. So 1, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, okay? And now you're going to make a V-stitch into that spot there where you have your stitch marker. You're making a V-stitch into the middle of that V-stitch from the round before. So that's again a double crochet, chain 1, and double crochet double crochet again into that same space. Again, you're going to want to mark that V-stitch that you just made. And just like just now, be careful. This is part of the V-stitch from the previous round. Your first double crochet right now is going to go into that double crochet from the V-stitch from the first round, okay? So now you're going to make 18 V-stitches, or excuse me, 18 double crochet, and the first one goes right here. So 1, I don't know if I mentioned this at the beginning, but this is going to be a size 3 6 months. And the measurements that I use the average measurements from the Craft Yarn Council. I can link to that below. Oops, took that out. Okay, that's okay. All right, I'm gonna make sure now that I have 18. So that's my, so 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18. Perfect. Then I'm gonna make a V-stitch into that V-stitch space from the round before. Double crochet, chain 1, double crochet again to that same space. And then again, you're gonna use your stitch marker. Okay, mark that stitch. And now you're making 16 double crochet. And again, just like before, here you have your V-stitch from the previous round. You need to double crochet into that stitch there. That was part of the V-stitch from the previous round, okay? So you're making 16 now. Okay, that should be 16. I'm going to count. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. Perfect. And then, once again, make a V-stitch into the V-stitch space from the previous round. And again, that's a double crochet. Oops. Chain 1. And another double crochet into that same space. And you're going to use a stitch marker. Mark that V-stitch that you just made, and now you should have 9 spaces left. 2, 4, 6, 9 stitches. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. Okay, so I'm going to make 9 double crochet to finish this round. All right, there we go. Now we're going to join again to the first double crochet of this round. All right, and then we're going to begin round 3. Okay, you're going to chain 2. Now you're going to make 10 double crochet. So you're going to make 1 double crochet into that same space that you joined to. So 1, and then 9 more. So that should be 10. Let me check. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Perfect. Okay. And once again, you're making a V-stitch into that V-stitch space from the previous round. So that's double crochet, chain 1, and another double crochet. Use your stitch marker to mark off that V-stitch. And now you're going to make 18 double crochet. And once again, make sure that you're not skipping over that first double crochet there. So you have the 2 double crochet that were part of the V-stitch from the previous round. You need to crochet into that one just like you did before you just made that V-stitch. Don't skip over that. Okay, so now I'm making 18. So I just made 1, so 17 more. I think I probably should have explained this before we started, but what we're making right now is this part. Okay, we're making that opening there, and it will get joined later, which will form the sleeves like that. So I'll show you exactly how to do that. So we're working from the top down. Okay, all right, back to those 18 double crochet. I think this would make such a cute Halloween costume for a baby for Halloween. You can even design a hat, like a wig hat to go with it. Okay. All right, now let me count here. Should have 18 of them. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18. Perfect. Okay. Okay, once again, I'm going to make a V-stitch into that V-stitch from the previous round. And again, it's a double crochet, chain 1, and then another double crochet, all into the same space. Okay, and again, use your stitch marker to mark that stitch. And now you're going to double crochet 20. that should be 20. Let me count them. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. All right, now you're gonna make a V stitch again into that V stitch from the previous round. Double, oops. All right, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet. All right, and then again, use your stitch marker to mark that space. And now you're going to double crochet in 18. And each time you do this, right after you double crochet, right after you make a V-stitch, make sure you're crocheting into the correct stitch there. You don't want to skip that first one. And this pattern could, this dress pattern can be used to make really any kind of dress that you want. I did, in addition to Snow White, I had varied it a bit to make a belle dress, Cinderella, and then Elsa. So if you want the patterns for any of these dresses, or if you want me to walk you through it and do a tutorial, just comment below. Okay, again, go back to crocheting my 20. And I do feel the need to say, just as a disclaimer, if you do make this as a Halloween costume for a baby, please just, if it's a gift for a friend, remind them, or if it's, you know, for your own child, just, it's never a good idea to leave little ones alone with any sort of costume or anything like that. So I would definitely make sure that they're supervised the whole time that they're wearing it. All right, I'm gonna count now and make sure that I have 20. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18. Oh no, okay, so yeah, this is supposed to be 18. I had done the 20 here. So it was 10, 18, 20, 18, and now I'm going to make a V-stitch and then do 10 more double crochet and join it. Okay, so now I'm V-stitch into that V-stitch space from the previous round. And again, double crochet, chain 1. Oops, what did I do? And then double crochet again. Okay, and then use your stitch marker to mark off that stitch, or that space. Okay, and now you will do 10 double crochet in those last 10 stitches. I don't know why this yarn is so squeaky. It's so funny. All right. Okay, I'm just gonna count that, even though it should be 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Okay. All right, that was 10. I'm going to join again. All right, you just completed round 3. Now we're going to move on to round 4. Okay. All right, and I believe this is around where we're going to be making our sleeves. So chain 2, and you're going to double crochet 11. So again, you double crochet into that first stitch where you joined. So that's 1, and then 10 more. I'm going to overlay music onto this video, so hopefully that is helping drown out the squeakiness, and hopefully you don't even hear the yarn squeaking. Okay, that should be 11, but let me check. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11. Okay. Okay, so, all right, gotta pay attention now. So let me just show you what is gonna happen. This is, okay. This here is the front of the dress. This is going to be the back. This is the armhole. Okay, so right now we just crocheted 11 and we're coming up on our V-stitch. That stitch is going to be joined to our next V-stitch to create this armhole. Okay, all right, and it's very easy, so I'll show you exactly what to do. Okay, you're going to remove that stitch marker, and you're going to make 1 double crochet into that V-stitch space. Chain 1, and then you're going to make 1 double crochet into the next V-stitch place, okay? So make sure that you're holding the sleeve like this. You don't want to go at it this way, okay? You want your right side of your yarn to be facing you. Remove the stitch marker from that next V-stitch. Okay? So you're holding it like this, the working yarn, or your right side is facing you, the wrong side's facing, they're facing each other, facing inward, okay? Insert your hook. And then do a double crochet, which will join those 2 sleeves. And I'm actually going to mark that stitch that I just made, just because sometimes it gets confusing with the chain and where the double crochet is, so I've marked that stitch for myself. I've made 1 sleeve. Now I'm going to double crochet 22. And again, you want to make sure you double crochet into that first stitch right there. That is part of the V-stitch from the previous round. So 1. I'm going to count now. That should be 22. Okay, so 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22. Perfect. All right, now we're going to make another sleeve. So again, remove that stitch marker and make 1 double crochet into that V-stitch space. Chain 1. Make sure the wrong sides are facing each other and the right side is facing out. Remove the stitch marker from the other V-stitch. Okay. So you're going to make double crochet, so don't forget to yarn over. It's a little awkward. All right, insert your hook into that V-stitch space. Pull your yarn through and make your double crochet. And again, I'm going to mark that double crochet stitch just to help remind me that that's where my double crochet was, because we did make a chain right before that. And as you can see, it looks a little confusing to know that that's a stitch right here. So at least it is for me. All right, now I'm going to make 11 more double crochet. And then this round is done. 1, 11. I like to always count. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Perfect. And then join to that first double crochet of this round. And you just completed round 4 and you've made 2 armholes. Okay, now for round 5, we're going to start by making 22 double crochet. So chain 2. Make your first double crochet into that same space that you joined to, so that's 1. Now you need 21 more. Actually, I think I got that wrong. I said 22. It's actually 11, 2 under the arm sleeve, 22 in the front, 2 under the arm sleeve, and then 11, because the 11 is split up. So I'll double check this, but this should actually be 11 double crochet. Yeah, let me double check. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. 12. Let me count over here and see. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Okay, so I must have written my notes down wrong, and that's okay. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Okay. All right. So double crochet for this round, and I'll make notes of this on the video. 12, and then leave your stitch marker there for that first stitch underneath. So you're going to make around, this was a chain 1 space. you're going to make 2 double crochet there. So that's 1, 2. Okay, so if this was 12, then you should now, from here to here, have 24 stitches. So I'm going to remove that stitch marker, and I'm going to make my first stitch into that, my first double crochet. So now I'm making what I believe will be 24. So that's my first one. So 1, okay. All right, now this should be 24. Okay, so those 2 stitches right there, between my thumbs, are the 2 stitches that I made underneath or through that chain 1 space, so under the armpit. So from here, this is my first stitch for the front. So this should be 24. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24. Okay, good. So I just had the math done wrong, my pattern. So now, once again, you're going to do 2 double crochet around this or around that chain 1 space there. So 1, 2. It's a little awkward. All right, and now we should have 12 left. So let's just double check and count that. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Okay, perfect. All right. And if the stitch markers would still help you, you can certainly still use them. I don't think I'm really going to be needing them anymore at this point. So that's 1. So now, if we had 24 stitches in the front, 24 because 12 and 12 in the back, so 24 and 24 is 48, plus the 2 under each sleeve. We should have 52 total stitches, and we'll go ahead and count and make sure that we do. the top of that first double crochet. I'm just making a note here in my pattern for myself that was not correct. Okay. All right, so now let's make sure we have 52 stitches. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30, 32, 34, 36, 38, 40, 42, 44, 46, 48, 50, 52. Perfect. Okay. All right, so sorry, my math was a little off there. All right, let's go ahead and start by double crocheting in 13. So I'm going to chain 2 and make my first double crochet into that same spot that I joined to. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13. All right, so 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Okay, 13. Okay, so in this next stitch here, I'm going to place 2 double crochet. And 2. And actually, I'm going, since I have my math off a little bit and I'll have to make some notes for myself for my pattern, I'm going to mark those 2 double crochet. And now you're going to double crochet 25, and then we'll be increasing again on the other side. we might be just about there. So I'm gonna go ahead and count. So just to recap, from the last round, we ended with 52. So we start here for this for the 5th round, and that's halfway around the back. So what I wanted to do is have 25 stitches in the front, 25 in the back, and then 51 and 52. Those 2 extra stitches there are the ones where we are increasing, and they should be right across from each other. So I started with 13. So when we get to this point, we should end with 12 left over. But first, right now, I want to make sure that I have 25 stitches here in the front, because I want to make sure we're increasing evenly down the side of the dress. So those were my 2 stitches. Okay, and that's easy to see there, that those 2 double crochet are in that same stitch. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 25. That worked out perfectly. Okay. Now you're going to make 2 double crochet into that next stitch. So 1, and 2. And I'm going to mark those for myself again, just because at this point that will be helpful for me. Okay, and we should have 12 left. And let me count real quick and make sure I'm doing this math correctly. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Perfect. Okay, so you'll make 2 double crochet into that same stitch, and then you'll make your last 12 double crochet, which will end round 5. And you're going to join to the top of that first double crochet from your round. Now we increase this round by 2, so you should have a total of 54 stitches. And I apologize, this was round 6 that we just completed. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to start by chaining 2. We're going to double crochet 13. Thank you for being patient with me with this change and error here in my pattern. I'm glad that I caught this though before I typed it up. All right, so you're gonna make your first double crochet into that same chain space, okay? And you're making 13, so 1, so 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. I'm gonna make one more. Okay, all right, so you can remove those 2 stitch markers. It looks like your 2 double crochet are going to go into the first stitch marker, the first stitch with the stitch marker. So you're gonna make 2 into that same spot. So 1 and 2. I'm not going to mark it off for myself this time, just because it's very easy to see that that stitch is the one that has 2 stitches in it. And now you're going to double crochet 26. All right, that should be 26. Let me count them. So there's my 2 double crochets. I'm gonna skip those. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, and 26. Perfect. Okay, so now you can remove those stitch markers, and also on this side looks like you'll be doing your 2 double crochet into that first stitch with the stitch marker. So go ahead and put make 2 double crochet into that stitch. So you have 1 and 2. Okay, and now you should have 13 stitches left here, and I'm just going to count to make sure. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13. Okay, and you've completed round 7. Okay, so we're going to start by chaining 2 and double crocheting in 14. Okay, you're going to make your first double crochet into that same space that you joined to and crochet 14. think I have to do one more, but let me look. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, do 2 more. 13 and 14. Okay, and now you're going to do 2 double crochet into that next stitch. Okay, and now you're going to crochet 27. More. No. Count. Okay, so you should have 27 here in the front. So locate those 2 double crochet that you made. Don't count those. Start counting right after. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 27. Okay. Just undo that, even though I'm going to make another one anyway. But okay, so that's 27. So now in your next stitch here, you're going to make 2 double crochet. And then you should have 13 spaces left. Okay, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13. Perfect. Oh, it makes me so happy when the math works out. All right, so we just completed round 8 and you should have 58 stitches. Okay. All right, so for this round, you're going to chain 2 and double crochet in 14. Okay, sorry, just making those notes for myself so I can type this pattern up correctly. So chain 2, make your first double crochet into that same space that you joined 2, and you're making a total of 14 stitches. Double crochet, 14 double crochet. And once again, we will be increasing in this round. Two, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. Perfect. Make 2 double crochet into that next stitch. And then you're going to double crochet 28. Okay, so there's my 2 double crochet. And now I'm making 28 double crochet. I'm gonna count. All right. Okay, so locate those 2 double crochet. Don't count those. Start counting right after. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28. Perfect. Make 2 double crochet into that next stitch. And you should have 14 stitches left. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. Perfect. And at the end of this round, you should have 60 stitches total. Go ahead and join to the top of that first double crochet, and you have just completed round 9. So you can see here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and you should have 60 stitches. So I'm going to stop here for video number 1. I'm going to have to make this 2 or maybe 3 parts depending on how long it is. So we just stopped at row 9. We still have looks like 4 more rows to go for the top half, and once those 4 rows are completed, then we can start on the dress portion. Okay, so I will link to video 2 below, and I will see you there. Thank you.